Have you ever wondered why your child seems glued to screens, unable to stop scrolling or playing video games? Or why they get frustrated so easily when things don't go their way? It all comes down to one powerful chemical in the brain, dopamine. And today, we're going to uncover how it shapes your child's emotions, behaviors, and mental health, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Dopamine is often called the feel-good chemical. It's what makes your child excited to win a game, eat a favorite snack, or receive a compliment. But here's the problem. Today's world is filled with unnatural dopamine spikes, and they're hijacking your child's brain. Social media, video games, sugary snacks, they all provide instant gratification, tricking the brain into craving more and more. The result? Your child might struggle to focus on schoolwork, lose interest in hobbies, or even have frequent mood swings. Everyday activities that once seemed fun, like playing outside, reading a book, or having a family conversation, start to feel boring in comparison to fast, easy dopamine hits. But don't worry, there's a way to fix this. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how dopamine works and how to help your child develop a healthy relationship with it. Dopamine is one of the most important chemicals in the brain. It's a neurotransmitter, meaning it helps send signals between brain cells. But what makes dopamine special is that it's directly linked to motivation, pleasure, and reward. Every time your child experiences something enjoyable, whether it's getting a good grade, winning a game, or eating their favorite food, the brain releases dopamine as a reward. This release makes them feel good and encourages them to repeat that behavior. Now, dopamine isn't bad. In fact, it's essential for learning, growth, and happiness. But there's a big difference between natural dopamine and artificial dopamine spikes. Natural dopamine comes from things like physical activity, social interactions, problem solving, and creativity. These activities take effort, and the brain releases dopamine gradually, reinforcing healthy behaviors. Artificial dopamine spikes, on the other hand, come from instant gratification sources like video games, social media, and junk food. These activities flood the brain with dopamine, creating a short but intense high followed by a crash. The more a child engages in these activities, the more their brain craves stronger and faster dopamine hits, making everything else feel dull and uninteresting. This is why some children become impatient, lose motivation for school or hobbies, and struggle with focus. Their brain gets wired to seek quick rewards, and everyday life just doesn't feel exciting enough anymore. Now that we understand what dopamine is, let's talk about what happens when there's too much of it and why that can be dangerous. Dopamine is supposed to work like a balanced reward system. It keeps us motivated to achieve goals and enjoy life. But when children are exposed to too many high dopamine activities, their brain starts to change. Instead of feeling satisfied with small, natural rewards, they begin to crave constant stimulation and instant gratification. Think about it like this. Imagine your child's brain is a music speaker. Normally, the volume is set to a comfortable level. But when they are constantly exposed to dopamine overload from hours of gaming, binge-watching videos, or consuming sugary foods, the brain turns down its sensitivity to dopamine. Now, in order to feel excitement, they need the volume turned all the way up. This leads to three major problems: low attention span. Kids become easily distracted and struggle to focus on tasks that don't provide immediate rewards, like homework or reading. Increased frustration. When something doesn't give them instant satisfaction, they get frustrated or give up quickly. Loss of interest in everyday activities. Playing outside, drawing, or even spending time with family feels boring compared to the fast-paced stimulation of digital content. Many parents notice these signs but don't realize dopamine is the reason behind them. When a child experiences too many dopamine highs, their brain stops finding joy in simple things. And it doesn't stop there. This dopamine imbalance can have long-term effects on their mental health. Next, let's talk about how this overuse of dopamine is linked to anxiety, depression, and emotional struggles. When dopamine levels become unbalanced, it doesn't just affect behavior, it impacts emotional well-being too. Studies show that chronic dopamine overstimulation is linked to anxiety, depression, and emotional instability, especially in children. But why does this happen? The brain naturally regulates dopamine to keep emotions stable. However, when a child is constantly exposed to high dopamine activities like endless scrolling, fast-paced games, and instant rewards, their brain stops producing dopamine naturally. This leads to two major issues: emotional highs and lows. Kids become extremely excited when they get what they want but feel irritable, moody, or even sad when they don't. Reduce motivation. When normal activities don't release as much dopamine as digital stimulation, children lose interest in school, hobbies, or even social interactions. A child stuck in this cycle may start feeling unmotivated, restless, and even anxious when they aren't engaged in high dopamine activities. Many parents mistake this for bad behavior, but in reality, it's their brain chemistry working against them. Even more concerning, research suggests that children who rely on quick dopamine fixes like excessive screen time or junk food are more likely to develop long-term issues with anxiety and depression. When their brain expects constant pleasure but doesn't get it, they may feel empty, stressed, or even struggle with self-worth. Now that we understand the problem, how can we reset your child's dopamine levels and help them regain motivation, focus, and emotional balance? The key is to gradually shift their brain away from instant gratification and back to natural, healthy dopamine sources. Here's how you can do it. 1. Create dopamine detox moments. The first step is to introduce low stimulation time in your child's daily routine. This doesn't mean banning screens completely, but rather setting limits and encouraging alternative activities. Start small, set 1 hour a day where screens are off, and instead, encourage creative play, outdoor time, or hands-on activities like drawing or building something. 2. Encourage delayed gratification. Teach your child that good things come to those who wait. Instead of allowing immediate rewards, help them work towards something. For example, let them earn screen time after finishing homework or doing chores. This trains their brain to appreciate effort-based rewards rather than instant ones. 3. Introduce physical activity. Exercise is a natural dopamine booster that doesn't cause crashes like digital stimulation. Encourage sports, dancing, or even just playing outside. The movement helps regulate mood and improves focus, making everyday activities more enjoyable again. 4. Make boredom a good thing. Many kids today fear boredom because they're used to constant entertainment. But boredom is actually essential for creativity and problem solving. Encourage free play, let them figure out ways to entertain themselves without a screen, and support activities that require patience and focus, like puzzles or storytelling. 5. Strengthen family bonding. Spending quality time together is one of the best ways to rebalance dopamine naturally. Whether it's playing board games, cooking together, or having deep conversations, these activities help create emotional fulfillment without the need for artificial stimulation. Making these changes won't be easy at first. Your child may resist, but consistency is key. Over time, their brain will readapt to finding joy in everyday life, leading to better focus, motivation, and emotional stability. Dopamine isn't the enemy, it's an essential part of your child's brain function. But in today's world, dopamine overload is creating real challenges for focus, motivation, and emotional well-being. If your child seems restless, unfocused, or addicted to screens, it's not just a matter of discipline, it's their brain chemistry at work. The good news, you now have the tools to reset their dopamine system. By creating healthy boundaries, encouraging delayed gratification, and promoting natural dopamine sources, you can help your child regain their ability to focus, enjoy everyday activities, and build emotional resilience. At first, this transition might feel difficult. Your child may complain or struggle with boredom. But stick with it. Over time, their brain will adjust, and you'll see the difference in their mood, focus, and motivation. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you noticed signs of dopamine overload in your child? What strategies have worked for you? Let's start a conversation in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Let's help more parents take back control of their child's mental health. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.